Hi, Val, you women talk to men like this. You don't need to play games. You don't need to dim your light. And you definitely don't need to wait for someone to choose you. Hi, Val, you woman knows that the way she communicates with men sets the tone for the entire relationship. It's not about controlling others. It's about showing who you are clearly, confidently, and without apology. So, how does a high Val, you woman, talk to a man? When a high Val, you woman, speaks to a man, one of the most important things she brings to the conversation is clarity. Clarity in how she feels, what she wants, and what she expects, not because she's trying to control the other person, but because she's deeply in tune with herself. She doesn't play games, send mixed signals, or wait for someone else to define the direction of the relationship. She defines it for herself first, then communicates it clearly and calmly. This kind of communication might seem bold in a dating culture that often encourages being chill, low maintenance, or unbothered, but in reality it's a superpower. A high Val, you woman doesn't say things just to be liked, she says things to be understood. For example, if she enjoys spending time with someone and wants to see more of them, she doesn't wait for them to guess how she feels. She'll say something like, "I've really enjoyed getting to know you. I'd love to keep seeing where this could go." Notice that she's not demanding commitment, nor is she begging for validation. She's expressing her interest with confidence. If she's unsure about someone's intentions, she doesn't snoop, play detective, or overthink. She just asks directly, "What are you looking for right now?" This doesn't scare the right man away. It shows that she values her time, her energy, and her emotional investment. Clarity also shows up when something isn't working for her. If a man starts pulling away, acting inconsistently, or being unclear himself, she doesn't spiral or retaliate. She simply names what she's observing and expresses how she feels about it. "I've noticed some distance lately. If something's changed for you, I'd rather know than guess." That kind of calm honesty creates either resolution or realization, and both are better than confusion. She never uses silence, sarcasm, or subtle digs to make a point. She believes her words are enough, and she trusts that saying them will either bring the right person closer or make space for someone better. What's important to understand here is that clarity isn't about being blunt or aggressive. It's about being clean in your communication, no mind games, no manipulation, no waiting 3 hours to reply to a text so you don't look too eager. Hi, Val, you women aren't afraid of looking eager. They're afraid of betraying themselves by pretending not to care when they do. Clarity is self-respect in motion. It means showing up fully, even when it feels vulnerable, and trusting that the right person will meet you at that level. When you speak with clarity, you don't just filter out people who can't handle real connection, you actually invite in the kind of people who can. You become a mirror that reflects emotional maturity, and that makes all the difference. Hi, Val, you woman doesn't waste her time in conversations that go nowhere. When she's getting to know a man, she's not just sitting back, letting him lead everything, or hoping chemistry will magically reveal whether he's the right person for her. She's intentional. She asks real questions, the kind that dig beneath the surface and reveal who someone truly is. She's not afraid to ask about a man's values, his goals, his past, or even his views on relationships. She's not doing this to interrogate or control, but because she genuinely wants to understand what kind of life this person is building and whether it aligns with hers. Too many people get caught in endless small talk, chasing butterflies instead of clarity. But hi, Val, you woman knows that emotional attraction is built on substance, not just excitement. So while she might enjoy flirting and having fun, she's also listening carefully to the things that matter. Does he show empathy? Is he emotionally available? Does he take responsibility for his choices? What does commitment mean to him? These aren't questions she saves for someday. They're part of the early, natural flow of connection, because she's not afraid to find out that someone might not be right for her. She's not in love with potential, she's focused on compatibility. When she asks questions, it's not just about the words, it's about the energy. She's fully present. She listens to what's said and what's left unsaid. She watches how a man talks about his exes, his family, his work. She notices how he responds to challenge or disagreement. She's not looking for a perfect answer, she's looking for authenticity, self-awareness, and integrity. If someone can't go deeper than surface-level charm, she sees that as information, not disappointment. She doesn't make excuses for red flags or fill in the gaps with wishful thinking. She sees things clearly because she dares to look closely. She also knows that asking meaningful questions shows her value too. It says, "I'm not afraid of depth. I'm not here to impress, I'm here to connect." That's incredibly attractive, especially to a man who's also serious about connection. It's easy to be passive and hope someone opens up on their own, but a high value woman knows that real connection requires courage. She's willing to go first, to ask, to listen, and to show that she's not afraid of truth. At the same time, she doesn't overinvest in someone just because they give great answers. She stays curious but grounded. She understands that people can talk a good game, but actions matter more. So she matches a man's energy, not his words. She asks herself, is this person consistent with who they say they are? That's the power of asking with intention. It's not about checking boxes. It's about understanding whether someone's character and lifestyle genuinely align with what she wants for her life. By asking the right questions, she doesn't just learn about the man, she learns whether this relationship is even worth building in the first place. A high-value woman understands that boundaries are not about creating distance, they are about creating clarity. She sets them not as a reaction to fear or anger, but as an expression of self-respect. When something doesn't feel right, she doesn't explode, sulk, or wait for someone to figure it out. She calmly addresses the issue, clearly expressing what she needs and where her line is. She's not trying to manipulate anyone into behaving a certain way. She's simply stating the standard she holds for herself and the kind of energy she allows into her life. A lot of people think setting boundaries means being aggressive or cutting people off, but in truth, real boundaries are quiet, confident, and drama-free. A high-value woman doesn't shout about her limits, she lives them. If a man is being inconsistent, showing up late, canceling plans last minute, or treating her casually when she's looking for something serious, she doesn't try to prove her worth to him. She doesn't chase or argue. She might say something like, "I'm looking for consistency and effort. If you're not in a place to offer that, I understand. But that's what I need." There's no emotional manipulation here, just truth simply stated. Her boundaries are not ultimatums, they're filters. They help her see who respects her values and who doesn't. And when someone doesn't, she doesn't try to convince them to change. She steps away with grace. She knows that trying to force someone to meet her needs will only lead to resentment. So instead of investing energy in fixing people, she invests it in protecting her peace. She believes that love should never cost her dignity, and that's exactly why her boundaries are non-negotiable. She also doesn't over-explain or justify her boundaries. She knows that if someone truly values her, they'll make the effort to understand and respect them. She doesn't need to apologize for having standards, nor does she feel guilty for walking away from situations that feel misaligned. The moment she feels her emotional well-being is being compromised, she addresses it early, before resentment has a chance to build. What's powerful is that this kind of boundary setting actually deepens connection with the right people. A man who is emotionally mature will see her boundaries as a sign of confidence, not confrontation. He'll appreciate that she's willing to speak up rather than stay silent. He'll feel safer with someone who knows who she is and what she wants. This creates a healthier, more open dynamic where both people are allowed to be honest and seen. Boundaries are not walls, they're doors. They open up the possibility for a deeper, more respectful connection. And the woman who knows how to set them calmly and consistently becomes magnetic to those who are looking for more than just surface-level attraction. She's not afraid to lose someone who can't meet her standards because she knows the right person will never ask her to lower them in the first place. Hi, Val. You woman knows that real strength isn't found in always having the upper hand or appearing emotionless. It's found in being able to show up with honesty, even when it feels vulnerable. She doesn't hide behind a mask of indifference or pretend she doesn't care just to protect her pride. She understands that meaningful connection only happens when two people are willing to be emotionally open, and she's not afraid to go first. This doesn't mean she overshares or becomes emotionally dependent on someone she barely knows. It means that when she feels something real, she allows herself to express it, no matter how risky it feels. She might say, "I really enjoyed being with you the other night. I felt a genuine connection." That simple statement takes courage because it opens the door to being misunderstood, rejected, or judged. But she would rather be clear and vulnerable than play guessing games or hold back out of fear. Vulnerability isn't weakness to her, it's the foundation of intimacy. It's what separates superficial attraction from genuine connection. And she's not interested in relationships that stay on the surface. When something hurts her, she doesn't try to hide the pain just to look strong. She'll say, "That actually hurt my feelings," and not to gain sympathy, but to be real. She doesn't lash out, get passive-aggressive, or pretend it didn't matter. She knows that pretending not to care doesn't protect you. It only disconnects you. And if someone can't handle her truth, that's not her problem to fix. She's not looking for someone who loves the version of her that stays silent. She's looking for someone who respects the version that speaks up, even when it's hard. At the same time, she chooses her moments wisely. She doesn't lead with vulnerability as a strategy to win someone over. She doesn't emotionally dump or share deeply in hopes of fast-tracking intimacy. She shares from a place of grounded confidence, not emotional chaos. Vulnerability for her is measured and intentional. It's about saying, "This is where I'm at, and I'm not afraid to let you see me, and not please validate me." That's a key distinction. She also listens with vulnerability. She doesn't just want to talk. She wants to understand. When a man shares something difficult or emotional, she doesn't shut it down or get uncomfortable. She leans in, she holds space, she doesn't use someone's openness against them, and she expects the same in return. That mutual safety becomes the foundation of something deeper than just attraction. It becomes trust. By using vulnerability as a strength, she creates relationships that are rooted in truth, not performance. She doesn't need to constantly test someone's interest or create drama to feel secure. She knows that real connection doesn't come from pretending to be above feelings. It comes from being brave enough to feel them, express them, and allow them to be seen. That bravery doesn't make her weak, it makes her unforgettable. Val, you woman communicates from a place of abundance, not desperation. She knows she's not trying to get a man, she's deciding whether this man fits into the life she's already proud of. Her energy says, "I would love to build something meaningful, but I'm already whole with or without it." This doesn't mean she's closed off or overly independent to the point of refusing connection. It means she's centered. She's not seeking someone to complete her. She's looking for someone to complement the rich, fulfilling life she's already created. When she talks to a man, you can feel this grounded self, worth in the way she carries herself. She's warm, she's present, and she's interested, but she's not attached to the outcome. She doesn't need constant validation, reassurance, or attention to feel secure. She's not driven by fear of losing someone or being alone. That's why she doesn't cling to potential, make excuses for red flags, or ignore her own needs to keep someone around. Her mindset is simple: if this isn't right, I will be okay. That level of emotional independence is magnetic. In conversation, this woman doesn't try to sell herself. She's not dropping hints about her value or waiting to be noticed. She already knows her worth. She listens as much as she speaks, and she stays curious not because she's trying to impress, but because she genuinely wants to understand who the other person is. She's not auditioning, she's evaluating. That shift in perspective changes everything. Men sense it instantly when a woman isn't trying to force connection or prove she's enough. Her calm confidence speaks louder than any clever words ever could. She also doesn't tolerate breadcrumbs. If a man is inconsistent, hot and cold, or unclear about his intentions, she doesn't get pulled into the drama. She doesn't try harder to win his approval. Instead, she steps back, not out of spite, but because she values peace over chaos. She's not afraid to walk away even from someone she really likes because her self-worth isn't up for negotiation. That doesn't make her cold, it makes her wise. She understands that attraction isn't enough. Alignment and mutual effort matter. This kind of woman also doesn't try to control timing. She's not rushing things or trying to push the relationship forward before it's ready. She lets things unfold naturally, knowing that the right connection will never need to be forced. She's present, she's open, but she's also patient. That balance of interest and detachment is what keeps her in her power. When a woman communicates from abundance, her words carry a quiet certainty. She might say something like, "I really enjoy being with you, and I'd love to keep getting to know you. But I'm also in a place where I won't settle for anything less than mutual effort." It's honest, kind, and firm. It invites connection without chasing it, and that's the mark of someone who isn't trying to be chosen. She's choosing. Thank you.